I was adopted from Russia when I was 6 months old. I am Romani. That is what gypsies are. It's the ethnic group of gypsies. Apparently, saying gypsy is a slur, but I'm a gypsy, so I can say it. I don't mean it as a slur, but that's what my mom told me that I was because that's what it said on my adoption paperwork. It literally said ethnicity gypsy. And I didn't even know what the word Romani was until I went to an all women's college in Boston and I took political science classes and stuff. I had no idea what Romani was. But I am of Romani ethnicity. And my birth mom, Rubina, was 15 when she had me. And I didn't really have that much information about her. But when I was 16, my mom took me to go get my driver's license on my 16th birthday in New York, where I grew up. And we had to go to the safety deposit box at the bank. Um, and she had to pick up I guess my birth certificate was in there. And so my mom had a call, so she left the room and I'm like rifling through this box of treasures, right? Like everything important my mom has, and there's my adoption paperwork and I'd never seen it. So I remember it's so funny. I took out my BlackBerry at the time and I took pictures of everything because my mom was like, "Do not look at that." Which as a mom now, I get that. I do. But at the time I was like, why? This is about me. But I think my parents didn't want me to they didn't want to disrupt my life and that information would be disruptive. And it was. It was. Ultimately in a good way, but it still was disruptive because it changed everything I knew about myself. So I took all these pictures and I had a translated version and then the Russian version. And I didn't know much other than my mom's name was Rubina Zernosenko, and my dad's name is Alexander Sleznev. And he was 21 and she was 15. And that was about it. And I knew their heights and their weights and just that I was a gypsy. There was no explanation of why I was put up for adoption. There was no, like anything other than just like her info and a signature. That's it. So, and he didn't sign anything. So I'm assuming she was alone when she did that. Um, at the time on the internet, I couldn't find anything about her. And like this was what? I was 16, so like 2010, 2011. No, 2012, sorry, math. And we I couldn't find anything on the internet about her. So I had to wait a few years. Then I finally went to college and I'm like I dropped my MacBook into something. I can't remember but it got wet. So it's like it's sitting in a thing of rice and I'm like praying to God that it works cuz I've got school the next day. And I'm trying to back things up and then finally I get it on and all these old files pop up and I found the picture from my BlackBerry from 2012 and it was all my paperwork. And there was a girl on my floor at college. I went to Simmons University before I dropped out after one semester. And then I moved to California. But I was there and there was this girl in my dorm and she was from Russia. Like she was Russian. Like she like got straight off the plane and went to college. And she had this beautiful accent and she was so funny. And we had this inside joke where we would say to each other, like, in Soviet Russia, dog walk you. And I remember everybody else thought that I was like bullying her, but I definitely wasn't. We were like homies. So she and I got on the internet and she showed me Russian social media and we still couldn't find Rubina. This was in 2015. But after looking and looking and looking for years relentlessly with her help, we eventually found both of my parents. So I found my mom in 2018 and then I found my dad in 2020. Rubina is the story of what I've pulled together about her pregnancy and what happened to her and what happened to me and how I was put in an orphanage. And like it's about I mean, it is about a 15-year-old girl as a woman of color as she navigates, newly post-Soviet Russia, with a partner who is much older than her, preys on her, uses her, and what happens to their baby. And it's not really about me. It's 100% about Rubina.